Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bestselling Author Television. I'm your host, Ray Ibarra, and we're here on location at the historic Brand Bookshop in Glendale, California. And we have our special guest on the program. She is an incredible individual who's changing lives, both individually and society-wise as well, around the world. She has written numerous books, including the phenomenal bestseller, Loving What Is, 4 Questions That Can Change Your Life. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so honored to have on the program today. Please welcome Byron Katie.
Thank you.
Katie, Happy New Year, and it's so good to see you again. How are you?
I'm well. Good to see you again, too.
Thank you so much. For our viewing audience now, give them a little background about how the work was born here in that incredible time in 1986, how this all came about.
Well, actually, I was very depressed, like more than a decade of depression with seemingly no way out. And my self-esteem was so low that actually I was really unable to sleep in a bed. I didn't believe I deserved it. So one morning as I lay sleeping next to my bed on the floor, actually a cockroach crawled over my foot and it woke me up. I opened my eyes, and in place of all that darkness was a joy that I've stopped trying to describe. But what came out of it, it was like a wordless thing and beyond description. But actually the important thing that came out of it is that I saw that when I believed my thoughts, I suffered. And when I questioned my thoughts, I didn't suffer. And I've come to see that this is true for every human being. And so that's what I do. I invite people to question the stressful thoughts that they're believing, and it changes their lives radically. Every time someone does the work, that's what I call the process, the work. Every time someone questions their stressful thoughts, they come out as a kinder, clearer human being, whatever our ages.
And as you write in here, the work reveals our incorrect thinking to us. So there's that part of our mind that kind of gets us to believe our own press clippings, so to speak. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, the thoughts that bring on the depression, I invite people to question the thoughts that bring on the anger. The thoughts we're believing that bring on the frustration, our thoughts about the world as we believe it to be. Until we question our stressful thoughts about the world is not going to make sense to us. So, of course, again, I invite everyone to question their stressful thoughts. That's my job.
It's so simple, but yet so profound, Katie, that the 4 questions and, of course, the turnaround, we'll get into that here in just a moment, how it's such a simple work, but the simplest works are the most profound.
Yes.
And this book here, born out of, I guess you could say, almost a tragedy in your life, is radically changing those people that take the time to ask themselves those questions. The first one that we're going to talk about here is of the 4 questions: is it true?
Yes. For example, if someone had the thought, he doesn't care about me, feel that thought, or she doesn't care, feel what happens when we believe that. So the first question, is it true he doesn't care about you? Using that example. And of course, I invite everyone to find that person in your life. Maybe it's one of your children. Maybe it's your partner. Maybe it's the next door neighbor. But he doesn't care about you. Is that true? And the second question, can you absolutely know that it's true that he doesn't care about you? Who could know another person's mind or heart? And we all answer those 2 questions out of our own sense of what lies within us, just waiting for it to surface and giving it time to answer. And if the answer is yes, wonderful. If the answer is no, wonderful. This is personal work. I invite everyone to take their minds back, to take your own mind back. So then we move to the third question. What happens? How do you react when you think the thought that your neighbor or that person that you have in mind doesn't care about you? And then, you begin to see where your feelings come from. They're an effect of mind. an effect of what we're believing. And then we begin to notice, how do I react when I believe that thought, when I think the thought, he doesn't care about me? I begin to get images about how uncaring he is. I begin to get images about my unworthiness. I begin to see all these images that show me how unfair it is. And, just on and on. So these feelings are the effect of the images we're watching, not the neighbor or not that family member. It's like my neighbor doesn't make me feel badly. It's these images. It's how I react when I think that thought that I'm reacting to. So, and then the fourth question, who would you be without the thought he doesn't care about you? And who would I be without the thought he doesn't care about me? Oh my goodness, if he walked into the room, I'd have no way of knowing that he was not a wonderful human being. And of course, the work isn't about dropping the thoughts or not believing the thought. It's about questioning one's own mind about what one is thinking. So then the turnaround, of course, he doesn't care about me. Turned around, you do a 180. I don't care about him. And then you begin to notice all of the ways, you begin to see examples of how uncaring you are toward that other human being. Maybe you just give them the look. Well, that's one way. Maybe you don't, the examples could go on and on. So then in that you see a list of amends to make. To contact him and say, I snubbed you in the driveway, if it's your neighbor. I snubbed you in the driveway yesterday when you were being so kind, and for that I'm sincerely sorry. And thank you for waving at me. I was thinking some thoughts that I'm working on now, And then, of course, there are other turnarounds. I don't care about me. It's like, what's up with that? I don't care about me, and I expect other people to care about me. So we begin to track the ways that we've been uncaring toward ourselves. Maybe it's the food we've been eating. Maybe it's, how do I react when I believe that thought? That's where addictions are born, right there. Who would I be without the thought? We get to find out. So actually, this is the end of not only the addictive mind, but addictive patterns in our life. I remember doing this work on immediately. I smoked, and I could no longer smoke. It's like smoking quit me. I didn't quit smoking. And see, that is my that's my way of breaking addictions. When you no longer have a reason to smoke, you don't. But what you're left with is a sense of, how can I help? And that doesn't ever end, because we come to understand that that's where we're the happiest. And so we do the work, the negativity falls away, and the service and the self-love and the self-respect is allowed to live.
Katie, is it when you're working with people in different places? Maybe you're working with some people in prisons, or you're working with some people that are, as you just said, addictions. Is it harder for a certain group to ask themselves these questions for inquiry, because maybe they've been in denial for so many years? Maybe their self-esteem is so low. You have these hardened prisoners that have not had contact with people. Is it harder?
No.
So it just cuts through then, and it just you're able to connect with them.
Anyone can do this work if they're open to it. And when a person is open, that's another way of saying they're willing. They have the willingness. And so children can do it. People without problems can do it. People who believe they have problems can do it, until eventually we come to see the world is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It is a friendly universe. It's what we're believing about people and life that makes it appear to be not up to snuff in our own opinion. But as we question our thoughts about the world, it radically shifts as the mind shifts, because the mind projects the world. and it's not the other way around. So we've been trying to change the world, and we still have war on this planet. We're like the ancients. We're the dinosaurs. We're still at war with ourselves and with each other and the world. I mean, we're like the old civilization, and I'm inviting people into a new way, and it's the way. Basically, it's the way of love.